Crimson Trace announces Link, the world's first wireless laser and white light system, combining a green laser and 300 lumen light with instinctive activation for AR-type rifles. Link, smart, simple, secure. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
#1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Welcome back. Glad that you can still be with us. Hey, I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk. We're about to have a whole bunch of fun talking for the next hour about guns and shooting. And yeah, we'll talk politics. We'll talk about pretty much anything that has to do with guns as long as we keep safety and responsibility firmly in mind. We're also talking about the events of the day, the news. In Minnesota, there's an attack in a mall. A guy wearing a security guard uniform stabs and slashes 8 or 9 people. Finally, an off-duty police officer shoots him and kills him. Might just be a reason. And look, this is not the ghetto, folks. This is not whatever you think is the bad part of town. This is not it. This is the kind of place that you go. It's the kind of place that, you wouldn't worry. And I'm not telling you to worry. That's the thing. I'm not telling you to be paranoid or scared or worried, but just prepared. Just go about your day in a prepared manner, knowing what's going on around you. Getting some training, carrying a gun, getting the permit, doing the things, getting serious about it. Take responsibility for your own safety and for that of your family. And just to put a fine point on it, what happens to you happens to your family. If you get hurt, it affects your family. If you get killed, it affects your family. So even if your family is not with you, protecting yourself is protecting your family. Just a little something for you to think about. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, or just 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. That'll get you in here. We're taking pretty much any kind of calls, particularly range reports, things you've been shooting. If you've got a take on the election, we'll certainly talk about that because Lord knows there's a huge difference between the candidates. Also, next week, I'll be at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Tampa, Florida. That's put on by the Second Amendment Foundation. If you're in the area, go ahead and go online to the Second Amendment Foundation's website, saf.org, and register. It's free to attend. And I'll be there. I'll be emceeing the awards luncheon. And I'll also be doing the radio show from there. If you'd like to come by, I'd love to shake your hand, say hello. So I'll be Tampa, Florida, next weekend at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. All right, let's go first to Jonathan, who has called in line 5. Hey, Jonathan, thanks for calling. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself, sir?
I am good. I understand that you finally got over and went to see Tiger McKee, my buddy.
Yes, sir, I did. It's been a while putting it in the works, but my dad and I finally were able to make the trip down from Ohio down to Alabama to go see Tiger and spend a couple days with him.
Okay, so that's a pretty far away. Now, you guys did a tutorial, I gather, not just a regular class. It was like just a Tiger and the two of you. Is that right?
Correct. It was technically what he calls private lessons, and we went down for 2 days, just us and him, and we worked on handgun, carbine skills, including low-light training, which for us was very important.
All right, so what motivated you to do that? Have you had other training?
We have. We've gone not only to Tactical Defense Institute in southeastern Ohio, but we've gone to Gunsight previously as well. And so it's easy to say we've both been bitten by the training bug. And so we're just going as many places as we can, as often as we can, not only to brush up on our skills, but it's a lot of fun, too.
Well, it is. Okay. All right. With that background, this is going to be interesting. Because you've been to Gunsight, where you do a 5-day class there, and you've had other kinds of training, and I tell people about Tiger, and I always tell them, look, don't be put off by Tiger. When you first talk to him, he sounds like He's just an Alabama country boy. Well, he is an Alabama country boy, but he's also, in my view, he's one of the best natural-born teachers I have ever been around. I think he could teach almost anything. So, all right, so you guys go down there. You spend 2 days of intensive training with Tiger. Tell me about it. Tell me what you did and how it worked out.
Well, as you said, he is one of the best teachers around. He likes to think of himself as a teacher versus an instructor. You can try to figure out the difference yourself. Everybody's going to come up with a different definition for that. But when we got there, we started out, pretty much immediately with carbine after going through our various backgrounds just so he could get a better idea of where we were as shooters. And we started working through the carbine skills, and then he transitioned us to handgun after lunch. Now, my father has had an issue jerking the trigger just for years, never been able to get through it regardless of if he's at gun site or somewhere else. In 30 minutes of handgun work, Tiger had cured him of that particular issue.
Wow.
He's one of the best teachers we have ever had. For me, he has put things differently than gun site and the other places I personally have been, and it got through my head better coming from Tiger than it did from some of the other folks that I've had. Not that they were bad teachers or anything. They were very good. It's just they say it differently, so it sticks better with me versus maybe somebody else down the line.
Sure, and sometimes you just need the same message to be given to you in a different way from a different person. You go, oh, okay, now I get that. Now I understand what they were trying to tell me. It's connecting. I bet you now when you're shooting, you hear Tiger's voice in your head, don't you?
I do, actually. I actually went to a small competition for my church group last night, and I just heard him in the background just talking me through the whole thing.
So what's the value of doing a private lesson?
The private lesson, one, the personal attention that you get from the teacher. When I went through gun sight, it was the largest class they've ever had for the P250 course. There were 32 people in the course.
Ooh, yeah.
They did what they could, but with that many people, you're always having to rotate through everybody to make sure everything's safe. When it was just Tiger and myself and my father, we got loads of personal attention to address our various tics, if you will. My dad's jerking the trigger, for example. My stance was a little off, and so forth. And the personal attention to detail was phenomenal. On top of that, we were able to advance more rapidly through where a typical, class would. In 2 days, we did the equivalent of about 5 days worth of training, just because there weren't as many people to go through. Sure,
that makes sense. You're getting that attention. You can move at your pace. Now, so you did pistol, you did rifle, and then you mentioned low light. What did he teach you? What did you take away from the whole low light training?
Well, one, you need to have more than one flashlight on your person at all times. One, as he likes to describe it, you need one for administrative tasks, which is not going to get rid of your night vision and so forth, not goggles or anything like that, but just your standard night vision that we all have as humans. But you need to also have one that is capable, of actually doing the job, seeing far off in distance, lightening up not just what's in front of you, but, potential threats that could be up to 75 to 100 yards away.
Okay. So your takeaway at the end, where you're, I know you've done this, you've talked to people and say, okay, let me tell you about this thing. What's your therefore, or when you wrap it up to people, what do you tell them?
Well, one, training is never going to be substituted for anything else. Training is phenomenal. You need to get it just at the very least for the fun part of it, much less the improving your skills. But when it comes right down to it, go to as many instructors as you can. Obviously, make sure that they are up to snuff, because it seems anybody these days can be an instructor with air quotes around them. But go to as many instructors as you can, because one person may say the exact same thing but use different words, and it clicks, and that may fix a particular issue you have.
There you go. Jonathan, thank you so much. That is a great range report. I very much appreciate that, and good on you guys for doing that and for getting down to see Tiger. Tiger's, like I say, he's phenomenal. For those who don't know, Tiger McKee, he runs Shoot Right Academy You can find out more at his website. It's SHOOTRITE, shootright.org. Also, of course, you can go to shopguntalk.com and you can order our video we did with Tiger. We did a video on gunfighting. It says it's with the 1911. Don't worry about that. It's with everything. And you can get a copy of his book, The Book of Two Guns. It's basically the 1911 and the AR-15 and how to gunfight with them. He is phenomenal. 866-TALK-GUN. In addition to your range reports, did you ever have an instructor who made a real impression on you? I'd love to get that story. 866-TALK-GUN.
As we celebrate 2 centuries in Remington country, it's humbling to think about all the ground we've covered. Since the infancy of our nation, we've journeyed with you every step of the way, helping shape the course of American history. Remington country is bigger than a place, and for the 200 years, it's been our highest honor supporting your freedoms and your way of life. To celebrate, Remington is giving away 200 guns. For a chance to win, tell us your story at 200sweepstakes.remington.com.
Brownells has always given you an advantage. With their huge selection of forever guaranteed gun parts, ammunition, shooting accessories, and more. And now, they're offering you the Edge. For just $49.95, Brownells Edge covers your standard shipping and any return shipping cost for 1 year. Brownells Edge members also receive discount expedited shipping and exclusive offers. Get the Edge today by visiting brownells.com/edge.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
Laser sights enhance shooting fundamentals, sight alignment, and trigger control. Training with laser sights increases muzzle awareness, improves and corrects sight alignment at sight picture, and aids in acquiring and maintaining sight picture in low light conditions. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
Back with you, 866-TALK-GUN. Get you on, you can also join me over on Twitter. I'm at Gun Talk, putting up notes there. If you haven't done it yet, you got to get on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter because I'm putting up these links to these stories that you may otherwise not know about. You may not know what's going on in California, but it could affect your state. Or you may not even know about a story in your state that the media decided not to even cover. How would you know if they didn't tell you? You got to go out and find it, or you got to get active online, get on the Facebook page. And I'm going to say it again. If you are serious about wanting to fight for the Second Amendment, you must have means of electronic communication, basically 4 tools: Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and email. There are some others out there, but at least those will get you going. And you've got, that's how it happens. That's how, it's to the point now, frankly, where companies and politicians, they divide people up into at least 2 groups. If you don't communicate with those, you simply don't count. Companies will say, yes, there are some of our customers who don't use Facebook. We don't care about them. We can't reach them. If you don't have an electronic means of communicating, you are being written off by companies as well as by politicians and governmental agencies. This is how it all happens. But you have to go out and make the connection originally. The Snapchat connection, the Facebook connection, the Twitter connection. Give them your email. Get on their email list. If you're not willing to do that, then shut the hell up. Quit bitching about what's going on. If you won't get involved, then just take whatever comes your way. It's like people who won't vote or won't register to vote. Just shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore. Got no use for you. No, sorry. Does that offend you? Good. Maybe get off your butt. Not you. Those other people over there. You know what I'm talking about. The ones who go, oh, yeah, I would never, I don't want to be on a list. No. Yeah, you know what? There are some lists that it's good to be on. You should be proud to be on some lists. You should be proud to be one of the people who stands up and does something about stuff. Going to the phones, line 2, Thomas, traveling somewhere in California. Hey, Thomas, welcome to Gun Talk.
How are you doing today, Tom?
Well, thank you.
Good. I wanted to bring up, since you brought up Twitter and all the Internet stuff, there's a Protecting Internet Freedom Act out there called S-3034. And at October 1st, Obama plans on just handing it over to ICANN, the UN, and IANA. And basically they're agencies outside of our country that aren't covered under the Constitution. So your First Amendment rights will not be protected. And anything they want to do and change about the Internet, they will have free reign to do. So I don't know where this stands right now, but contact your senators and let them know. And
we don't want to turn the control of the Internet over to people from outside our country. It's a great point, Thomas, because here's the thing. And right now, a lot of the commercial online services, Google, Twitter, Facebook, they don't allow messages about selling guns. Even though it's perfectly legal, they just won't allow it. Boom, not there. You don't exist. You evaporate. You disappear. Imagine if the Internet is being controlled by somebody in Belgium or someplace, and they don't understand guns, don't understand our culture. What could they do? They could do quite literally anything. It's a good point, Thomas, and it's worth looking into. I'll see if I can find an expert who can come on and tell us more about that in the future. Line 4, Lance, Portland, Oregon. Hello, Lance. You're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. I was wondering if you could tell me what was the purpose or the reason why a .22 Hornet was designed. I was wondering what that was really made for.
Well, it was designed for pretty much eastern groundhog hunting. It's what the .22 Hornet was all about.
I know that you go from a .22 long rifle to a Magnum and then to a Hornet. Is there anything beyond a Hornet in a .22 caliber?
Sure. A whole bunch of stuff. 221 Fireball, 222 Remington, 222 Remington Magnum, 223, i.e. 5.56. You go to all of the centerfire 22 250s, 220 Swifts, lots and lots of .22 rifle calibers out there. Okay, and there's probably another dozen I haven't even thought of.
Right. So okay. So
what are you thinking? What do you want to get something? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I was just thinking of a maybe a rifle for survival purposes, more of like if you had to retreat into a wilderness area and you needed something to carry, just to get game with, without spending a lot of money
choices. Of those choices, I would probably either go with a .22 long rifle or a .22 Magnum rimfire. The ammo is not heavy; it's light to carry. You can still go out and buy. I'm going to say not expensive, but you can shoot a lot of it. Yeah, good point. Jim says, and you can get a suppressor, shoot both of those with a suppressor. If you're in a survival situation, that might be a worthwhile thing to do too. But I would be looking at one of those. Now, here's a question. Do you know what kind of action you would want? Would you want a semi-auto? Would you want a bolt action? How would you want to go there?
Believe it or not, I'd like to get something that's like a break action, sort of like the little 410 single shots.
Right. I
just wonder what manufacturer would make something like that, just a single shot that breaks.
Man, Springfield Armory used to have one, but they haven't made that in a while. I think it was called the M6. It was basically the old Air Force survival gun. I'm not sure who has a break action, but yeah, they had the 410 22 rimfire over and under, pretty decent. So, interesting idea. I tell you what, keep listening. We're going to ask if anybody has any suggestions for a 22, let's limit it to our 22 rimfire survival gun. What would you choose? And also, any ideas on who's making that 410 22 over and under? Somebody knows who's making that. 866 Talk Gun. Hunter's on line 3 out of Arkansas. Hello, Hunter. What you looking at?
Hello. I'm about to turn 21, and my parents and our family, we don't really have much experience with handguns and everything. I've done a lot of hunting with long guns, shotguns, rifles, but I'm really looking for, I really think it's important to have a self-defense handgun or something like that with a CCW. I went and bought, because I didn't have much experience with handguns, a Walther P22 22 long rifle handgun.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
I've got to shooting it. I got that because it'd be cheap to shoot, and I thought it'd be easier than getting the 9mm or something like that to introduce me into, and I really like to shoot it, and I was wondering how if I could just use it as a concealed carry weapon, or if that wasn't the right caliber.
You could. Let me ask you a quick question. Would you hunt deer with a 22 rimfire?
Probably not.
Okay, then let me ask you a question. If you wouldn't hunt a deer that weighs 100 pounds, why would you depend upon a 22 rimfire to stop a 220-pound man who wants to kill you, and you need to stop him right now in his tracks? That doesn't make any sense. Now, the Walther is a great pistol, and you can shoot that and practice with it, and that's wonderful. But you do want a centerfire handgun. But more than that, and here's the really, really important part of this, Hunter, what you need is some training. Being a hunter doesn't count. Being a lifetime shooter doesn't count. Being a good shot doesn't actually matter. You need some good training with self-defense, with handguns, a specific class for that. But yeah, you definitely want something more than a 22.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Back with you, Tom Gresham, 866 Talk Gun, or just dial 1 Tom Talk Gun. Talking about, of course, the Minnesota Mall attack. Man was shot after stabbing 8 or 9 people. Man's dressed in a security guard uniform. We have people doing home invasions wearing clothing that says police on them. And then I just saw a story. See if I can get this. There it is. Can't seem to find it right now. It was, stand by. Yeah, there it is. Police apologize after raiding home for drugs only to find innocent family. Authorities in western Colorado apologized to a family with several young children after officers smashed their way into a home, mistakenly thinking a large stash of drugs was inside. Huh. They're lucky nobody got killed. You come crashing into my house in the middle of the night, somebody's going to get killed. Probably me in the process, but probably not just me. The whole idea of kicking in doors. We knocked, but we had no answer. Yeah, knock, 1001, 1000, crash. Uh-huh. It's a bad idea. It's a bad policy. Police departments need to re-examine that. The drugs are not worth endangering lives. It's just not. Sorry. They're not. And relying on an informant for that, and you didn't actually go look and check and do surveillance yourself, didn't know that the people you're looking for had moved out years ago? Give me a break. Dangerous stuff out there. There's some dangerous stuff. Let's see. Let's go to line 1. Mike is in Bodfish, California. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Tom. Yes, they call about a survival gun a while ago. I have Savage over and unders. Model 24 is the old gun. Mine is 22 over 410. And the new is Model 42. Mine is 22 Magnum over 410.
Ah, okay. Very cool. How do you like them? Do they shoot well?
They shoot well. The Model 24 my dad bought when I was a kid, and I shot a lot of rabbits and squirrels with it when I was young. And now they're right in my selection every time I have to leave the home. We have fires here, so I have to get out every once in a while, and those guns go in the car with me when I go.
All right. Excellent. Okay, good information, Savage. Super. Appreciate that, Mike. Line 4, Levi is with us out of North Bend, Oregon, one of my favorite places in the high desert. Hey, Levi.
Hey, how's it going? I know that they make one that's called a trifecta, and it's not an over-under, but it's a multi-barrel. You can use the same action on multi-barrel, and I end up buying one with a 22-410 barrel combo.
So basically you're swapping the barrel. It's a single shot, and you can swap the barrels out. So you could put 22 or 410, or I'm looking at it. You go 243, 44 Magnum. That's pretty cool. Pretty interesting system. How long have you had that gun?
I've had it for a couple of years. I keep the 410 barrel on it in the truck for upland game, shooting quail and grouse and stuff. But I think New England Arms might even make a break action 22. I know their handy rifle. I've got it in a 4570, and they might make a 22 also.
Okay. A lot of choices out there, and, which, Levi, kind of leads us to the question of, if you really did have to do a survival thing, what would you really need to shoot? So that's kind of, would you be shooting birds? Would you be thinking self-defense against people? Or would it be like shooting a four-legged critter so you could eat? In your mind, when you think survival situation, what are you thinking?
That's the million-dollar question. From the military, I always warned everyone about 22s. I wouldn't want to get shot with a 22. I'd rather get shot by a 40 because those bounce around inside you. So overall, I think a 22 would be the ultimate everything. You could shoot, you possibly shoot a deer with the right shot, small game, even protect yourself. So that's the reason why I got that Rossi. Is just a survival gun. I can throw it in a backpack and run if I need to.
Yeah, an interesting idea. And, of course, with 410, another thing you can do with the 410, you can shoot bird shot with it, but you can also throw 410 slug loads in there if you needed them. Shotguns are pretty versatile because of the ammunition options. The only problem with bigger gauges is the ammo gets heavier, and so you can't carry a lot of it with you. So you end up going back to, with a 22, you could carry 1,000 rounds of 22, and it just wouldn't be a big deal. Yes, Jim, you can suppress a shotgun. There's a really goofy shoebox looking thing you can put on a shotgun that silences it, but it's a big goofy looking shoebox thing. So there it is. Greg's in New Jersey on 3. Greg, you have made it onto Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. So my question today is, as you announced, I'm unfortunately in New Jersey. I'm looking to move. So my question to you would be, if you had to pick a state to move to, preferably on the East Coast, but hey, I'll take the whole country. If you had to pick a state to move to, which would you move to for a gun owner, for the best gun owner rights and, a state that loves us? Which would you pick?
Okay. Very interesting idea. Okay, let's try to keep it. Now, do you want to keep it literally East Coast where it's touching the Atlantic, or just kind of the eastern U.S.?
Doesn't have to touch the actual coast. But the problem is my family's in Jersey, and they're reluctant to leave. So I want to be somewhat close. I was looking at North Carolina a bit, which is a 9-hour drive. So I got a bit of a distance I'm okay with taking.
I would say Virginia. Well, look, here's the thing. You're starting off with the understanding that anything south of you is better than where you live. It's just a given. You're in New Jersey. You could just drive and say, I'm going to set my watch, and when the alarm goes off, that's where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to be better off than where I am now. But okay, having said that,
New Jersey and New York is where I lived my entire life, so not too friendly with gun owners.
Virginia is good. The only problem I have with North Carolina is they have a crazy deal that you have to get and maybe it's not a big deal, but you have to actually go ask the permission of either the sheriff or the police chief before you can buy a handgun, and that just drives me nuts. I would hate that. South Carolina's good. Georgia is not bad at all. Georgia would be a good choice, and of course it's much further, but Florida, it would be just fine.
Georgia, Florida, Virginia, all great choices. I appreciate that, Tom.
Sure. Well, you may have heard of Bruce Pyatt, maybe one of the best, if not the best shooter going. He was law enforcement and SWAT team member in New Jersey for 30-something years, and the moment he stopped being a police officer, all of a sudden his competition guns were illegal in his state. He couldn't own his ARs, so he just moved out of the state. I mean, he was a lifelong New Jersey resident and police officer and all of that, but he had to leave so that he could be able to at least just literally own his guns. So I applaud you. And for people who always say, well, just move. It's not easy to move. And thank you. I appreciate the call, Greg. It's not easy just to up and move and just say, I'm just going to go. So there you go. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Be right back with more gun talk.
FN handguns bear the DNA of legends, of John Browning, the father of modern firearms, of the artisans and craftsmen who brought his genius to life, of the brave souls who defended our freedom on the front lines for the last 100 years, and the brave souls who defend it on the home front today. FN handguns, the DNA of legends in the palm of your hand. Ask for FN, the world's most battle-proven firearms.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups. Shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with one shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
If you're a hardcore duck hunter, Mossberg has a gun for you. The new Pro Series shotguns were designed and built to be the most reliable, most durable semi-automatic duck guns anywhere. Rain, ice, snow, it doesn't matter. When the weather gets tough, these new Mossberg shotguns will keep the shot flying and the ducks falling. This season, don't leave anything to chance. Head to your blind with one of the new Pro Series shotguns from Mossberg. Great performance at a great price. Learn more at mossberg.com.
.866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. Line 1, Brian's with us out of Texas. Hey, Brian, range report, talk to me. What you got?
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to let you know I purchased a Browning 380 Black Label 1911, and it is a beautiful gun. It's very accurate. It's light. It's basically about 85% the size of a standard 1911. And I have tried several different types of ammo in it. And it seems like it really likes a 90 grain Spear Gold Dot, and it likes some of the ammo from Underwood Ammo, especially the new Extreme Penetrator.
Now, let me ask you, what was the intended use of it? You're going to use this as a carry gun, or is this just a range gun? What are you going to do?
Well, I've been carrying it I've had it for a few months now, and I've put several hundred rounds through it. And it's just very comfortable to carry. It's a little smaller than a standard 1911, but it really fits your hand good. It's lightweight. It's easy to point. It has a 4 1/4 inch barrel, which is a little longer than your standard 380 compact pistols, and it's very accurate out to about 15 yards. I was impressed with the accuracy of it.
That is terrific. How's the slide? I understand that it's pretty easy to operate the slide, because of the lighter spring.
Yes, my wife has shot it and likes it, and my sister, who has never shot guns before, I put it in her hands and let her shoot it, and she loved it, and she is intending on purchasing one herself.
Well, I'll be darned.
So for a woman, I would say it'd be a great gun. As somebody that doesn't have strong hands, for a 1911 to pull the slide back, very easy. It's very quick, and I love carrying it. I carry it most of the time now just because I like the lighter weight guns in the summertime. I have a Glock 42, but I prefer this. This is much more, for me, it's a much more accurate gun than the Glock 42, and I think you get a little bit more muzzle velocity, maybe a little more power out of a 380, and I just love it because I love the 1911 platform anyways.
That's terrific, Brian. A great range report. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. Line 4, Scott is in North Dakota. What you thinking here, Scott?
Hey, Tom. I was just wondering what authors you like to read. I have Stephen Hunter or...
Authors. Well, let me talk about that for a second. I do love reading. I like thrillers. But I also like just good writing. Obviously, Stephen Hunter does great work. I like Brad Thor and his thrillers. But let me drop back to a name you may not know. If you get a chance, 2 of them. Robert Ruark, literally anything he writes, from Use Enough Gun to Uhuru to Something of Value. I mean, literally anything that Robert Ruark wrote. But here's a name you may not have heard, Ernest Gann, Gann. If you can get a copy of Fate is the Hunter, it's not about guns, it's not about shooting, it's about aviation. But the lessons are directly attributable, or transferable, rather, to what we do. And these are real stories from real things that happened. This guy flew way back in the day. But Ernest Gann was an amazing wordsmith. Almost anything that he wrote is worth getting a hold of. Then if you want to go back a little bit further, look up a guy named, and I love this name, Havilah Babcock. I was just telling somebody earlier today, I said, he wrote a book with one of the best titles. If you're a hunter, you understand this. And right now, as we're starting to get just a hint of fall in the air, depending on where you live, the title of the book is My Health is Better in November. And if you're a hunter, you get it. It's the crisp mornings. It's the crunch of the leaves underfoot. It's the smell of a wet dog. It's the smell of a quail or a grouse when your dog brings it back. It's getting out the waders and getting them ready for duck season. It's pulling out the decoys and getting all the lines untangled and making sure that they're ready, and your decoy bag, and getting the boat ready. And it's all of that. My Health is Better in November by Havilah Babcock. There are so many good writers out there. It is a singular pleasure for me. Turn off the TV, get a good reading light, and read a good book. And you can go back, and the thing that's great about it is they can be as old as you want them to be. But yeah, Robert Ruark, Ernest Gann, Havilah Babcock, and then of course, I mean, you can grab any of the old Gresham books. We still have a few copies of Grits on Guns around. Definitely worth getting a hold of. Man, gotta tell you, he may have been my dad, but the guy could flat write. Absolutely, what a storyteller. I appreciate the question. It gave me a chance to kind of just think about it. I will think of some others. I will wish that I mentioned some others, no doubt, at some point. But I would encourage you to, if you have a bent there, read some good writing. Some of these guys, they knock it out of the park. It is so much fun. Still have time for you here. 866-TALK-GUN. Who do you like to read? right, in the limited time we have left, let's go straight to the phones. Line 3, Mark's try it again. Mark is there out of Pearland, Texas, and I can't talk. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Tom. Just wanted to tell you, I am carrying a Shield 9, and I've had it for a couple of months, maybe, and been looking for a holster. Finally found I was looking for a minimalist, a single clip that I could put IWB as well as a spare magazine in an IWB mag holder. And I've looked everywhere. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I have an Alien Gear gun belt. But what I found was a Dara holster, which is made in North Carolina, for my IWB, for my Shield. And then I found I can't remember where I found this, Tom. It was on maybe eBay or something, but it was Detroit Kydex. Detroit Kydex makes a minimal mag holder for an extra mag that I can put IWB. And I needed something, Tom, that I could just walk out the door to go walk the dog or down to the store. Right. I didn't want to have several clips and all that. I mean, Alien Gear is a great holster and all that. I just wanted something real minimal, and I finally found it. I looked a long time, and I found those. I don't know if you're familiar with those or not.
I'm not. Dara IWB and Detroit Kydex. I'm going to go look those up. Right. I appreciate it, Mark. That's good range support. Thank you, sir. Let me drop down to line 4, talk to Dr. Johnny D. How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Talk to me. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, I did a Beyond Concealed Carry Advanced Worst Case Scenarios course with Bob Mead, who does the Handgun World podcast. And one of the things that we were doing differently, I've done a bunch of classes with him, we're now concentrating on doing headshots because of the terrorist threat, which, of course, is one of the things that I will be talking about at Gun Rights Policy Conference next weekend. Also, we're doing a lot of moving in confined spaces and getting your shots off, thinking in a three-dimensional scenario to make sure that you're not shooting through the bad guy into innocence, or to get between the bad guy and the innocence so you can get your shots off. We were also doing hostage rescue shots at 20 yards and making good hits. And I was using my SIG P226 single-action Legion gun. And, man, what a gun that sucker is. I love that gun.
That is a gorgeous gun.
I know we're running short on time, but I want to encourage people to come to Gun Rights Policy Conference, and if you can't make it, it's going to be streamed online, so you can watch it live.
Wow, that's great. Okay, I appreciate that. I'll see you in Tampa in a little bit less than a week. We'll be there. Yeah, the Gun Rights Policy Conference, as I said, it's free. It's in Tampa this coming weekend. Friday, mostly it's all day Saturday. You can sign up, go to saf.org. I'll be there. We'll be doing the radio show from there. You'll be able to hang out with people like, gee whiz, John Lott, Alan Gura, Alan Gottlieb, Gene Hoffman, just a lot of the folks you've heard on the radio here with me. These are the movers and the shakers in the gun rights world. We'll get reports on what's going on. Just read a story that Alan Gura wrote. It was kind of chilling and depressing. He said, basically the courts are ignoring the Heller decision. The lower courts are treating it as though it didn't actually exist, and they're ruling against gun rights, and there's nowhere to appeal it right now, of course, because it's a 4-4 in the Supreme Court. There's absolutely no guarantee that even if Trump wins, that we get a good judge that actually understands the Second Amendment. So it was not really encouraging. So I can't wait to get to Gun Rights Policy Conference and talk to Alan Gura. We'll actually have him on the show next Sunday. We're going to get him to explain what his take is on that and what's actually going on. In the meantime, get out and do a little bit of shooting, talk up gun rights, get online, sign up for the alerts, make a commitment to be active in the gun rights battle. It is a lifelong battle, and I appreciate you signing up, and I appreciate you being here.